Hello and welcome to the Enterprise Talk Conversation Series, a peer knowledge resource by the CXOs for the CXOs. Now to our host, Kanika Goswami.
Hi, we welcome you to our podcast On Stage with Enterprise Thought Leaders. My name is Kanika Goswami and I'm the managing editor of On.media's B2B enterprise technology publications. We have engaging conversations with global thought leaders and industry experts on podcasts, on interviews, and on blogs and all kinds of interactive media. According to Gartner, the average cost of IT downtime for any organization is approximately £4,000 per minute. Outages are the consequence of many things, but IT teams need more help monitoring networks for attacks, with them facing complex, sprawling estates that house numerous blind spots and produce a deluge of information and alerts. There's a need for solutions that uncover blind spots and centralize all data from across networks, which could be offices, applications, clouds, even employees and their devices. These could use agentic, predictive, or gen abilities to also monitor, flag, predict, and fix issues before they negatively impact operations and the UX. Riverbed has developed a solution that can help here. And today we discuss with Richard Tworek, the Chief Technology Officer of Riverbed Technologies, more about it. Welcome to the podcast, Richard. It's great to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Kanika, and look forward to our discussion here.
And before we start with the questions or the pointers, just a single one or two lines about Richard. He's a CTO of Riverbed Technology, like I just said, and there he leads the product management, engineering, and data science teams in building and enhancing the Riverbed unified observability portfolio. So, Richard, AIOps for observability can help businesses team with enhanced operational performance. Could you explain how it works a little more in detail?
Yes. So AIOps for observability covers quite a bit of the waterfront. What's really necessary for AIOps for observability to work is the collection of data anywhere in the endpoints, application performance, endpoint performance, network performance. And in the AIOps world, all those things are now put together in such a way, running through algorithms and Gen AI to then take a look at all the information that's coming in. And the real hard part is correlating the information so that you as a IT operations owner can then have this information synthesized and be able to pinpoint where the problem is. So the AIOps does a couple things for you. One, it pinpoints where the problems are. Number two, depending on the sophistication of the AIOps engine that you're using, that it may actually run remediations and automations for you as well. So it's all about saving time on the problem resolution. If we can talk a little bit about how it used to be done, without a good AIOps engine, what happens typically is that you have a emergency call goes out to a group of people. And I've seen this happen in very large enterprises. They go out to a large group of people, and sometimes you have, depending on the casualty of the problem, if it's a huge business impacting problem, you'll have 20 people on the call, and they'll be describing the call, and these people eventually would be hanging up that, oh well, it's not me, it's not me, it's not me, and eventually you wind up with a core maybe of 4 to 6 people that need to try to resolve the problem. Without AIOps, typically that problem resolution could be within hours. I've seen it run as long as 2 weeks. So AIOps is a big productivity enhancing tool, especially when it has effect with business impacting. Kanika, like I said, 400 pounds per minute is a huge number.
That is correct. So what would you think will be the biggest strength of AIOps for user experience especially? And could you also, explain it a little bit in detail how that works?
Well, it's around the user experience. You have to look at, there's 2 users in my mind. One is the network or the application owner or network owner. The IT operations is one set of users. And then you have the other people sitting on the other side, which are business critical applications. And so let's take it from both perspectives. From the if you will, employee using a critical application, the criticality is obviously to make sure it runs. That you have a good user experience, that the application works and it's not slow, and especially dealing with business critical kinds of things, anywhere from commodities trading, which is the second to second kinds of issues, to dealing with high net worth individuals or critical customers. So you want to make sure it works. And so how AIOps helps that person, it helps the IT over here to resolve their problem quickly. With AIOps, there's a couple of things can happen. If one piece of it is that if it sees that its ability to actually identify where the problem is and to quickly resolve it, that really is the core of AIOps. There's other pieces of AIOps that's really important, is the predictive nature of it. In other words, the ability to say, well, we anticipate this particular branch office because of certain loading on the branch office or the number of people coming back to the office. Can I run a predictive, under AIOps umbrella, can I run a predictive analysis of what's actually happening? And based on what we're seeing with, again, with the level of sophistication, with, again, Gen AI, if I didn't say AI, I wouldn't, have to say AI. So part of AI and the machine learning algorithms, then you can do a predictive. So you have two aspects to the AIOps in the user experience. One is, how do I resolve this problem quickly so it's minimize business impact and so the employee has a good experience? The other side is, can I predict what's going to happen with this increased loading, let's say, at this branch? So it's two aspects to it on an AIOps engine for employee experience.
Right. For a company to use AIOps for its best advantage, what is a basic requirement of data readiness or any other kind of readiness that you want to talk about?
Oh, data readiness, it's interesting. That's a very interesting question because obviously the entire system on AIOps is dependent on data. And from a Riverbed's perspective, our advantage in the marketplace is that we have real-time data. We collect all the data on networks, where it's packets and flows. We look at application behavior, endpoint behavior. So we have massive amounts of data that can be fed into an AI engine. So what's really important in data is another aspect to it is the collection of data that's not synthetic. It's got real data. We have the real data to be able to make the decisions. That data then is fed into an analytics system of collecting these metrics, and these metrics are then analyzed. And with this data, we can go and mine additional data, meaning that if we look at a possible anomaly in our detection process, part of that process is to look at correlation. Where else in the network or where else in the application are we seeing this particular problem? And that correlation is really important. The ability to go back and collect additional data to be able to substantiate the claim of that there's an issue in this particular area, and then you run an automation. But let's go back to the data. We have something we've invented called the data store. The cleverness of this data store is that we've discovered it's not important for us to move all the data. So if we turn around and look at some of our big machines that collect packets, for example, some of our largest machines are 2 to 3 petabytes of information a day that's collected. It's huge. Now, if you have some of our larger customers have 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 machines running, collecting this packet. So you're almost into exabytes of data being collected. So imagine moving that kind of data around into a central location so you can do mining. What we found through our data science is that we don't have to do that. What we look at is collect certain metrics. Our data store now is aware of location of all the data in the network. In other words, we leave the data where it is. And so what we do in our data store is understand the topology of our data environment, and we're able then to go and get and fetch additional data. So the nice thing about the way we look at this is that don't move the data, leave it where it is, collect the right metrics that you're able then to discern whether there's a problem, go get more data. So we don't ever move petabytes of data around. We leave it where it is, and we're able then to mine that data as part of our data analysis pipeline. So data is really key. Real data is really key. Real-time data is really key.
Right. We would like to know a little more in detail about the Riverbed's solution that we are talking about here and how it uses AIOps, which we've been discussing all along anyways, to meet challenges in monitoring the IT network and other infrastructure.
Yeah. So our solution called IQ-Ops is the ability for us to synthesize or to analyze all this information that we're gathering through the data store. These metrics come into our evaluation pipeline, our analysis pipeline, and so we're looking for certain anomalies, and so part of our solution is to be able to look at that and correlate, as I talked earlier. Our solution provides pinpoint accuracy of where to be able to find the problem. And it also takes the next step. We add automations to our AIOps engine. So our IQ-Ops adds automations. And what's automations do for you? Well, does a couple different things. One is you can design automations that a level 1 or level 2 engineer has the same analytical capability as a level 3 or level 4 engineer. Meaning that once a problem's identified, an automation is run to gather more information, to take a look, additional correlation to see if there's a problem someplace else, as if you were a level 3 or level 4 engineer. So you can design these automations so that your efforts are now moved to more and more junior people. So our automations, which is unique, allows us to be able to build these automations for and be able to help to do the analysis. The other important part of this automation pipeline is that once a problem is identified, the automations can then run a remediation, meaning go and fix the problem. And the automation could easily insert into ServiceNow a ticket to describe what the problem was inside the ticket, go run the automation. If the automation, the remediation fixes the problem, because we can run the tests, the automation then goes back and closes the ticket and inserts what the resolution was. Completely hands off, runs as if it's a level 3 engineer, able to do the remediation, identifies exactly what the problem is. So instead of going back to your initial point, spending minutes and hours trying to diagnose a problem, we take care of it in seconds. As a matter of fact, in some cases, it's completely automated. It could be done without anybody touching the system. So it's a very powerful tool. And what we find is customers are using that to pull together not just how an application works, AIOps, because of the breadth of what Riverbed offers, anywhere, again, from packet to flow to APM, application performance management, to application behavior, endpoint behavior. So we have Wi-Fi behavior. We cover the entire waterfront. So with a single solution from Riverbed, our AIOps engine provides the entire waterfront of capability and looking at all this data sources to be able to resolve the problem.
So there is just one more thing I wanted to know. We did mention earlier that they could be using agentic AI or predictive AI. So
Correct.
agentic AI is something which is coming up very strongly. Do you think it is giving any added advantages for the solution if agentic AI is being used?
Oh, I think so, very much so. We're releasing Agentic AI this end of this quarter, and also predictive is already out in our algorithms. Agentic is amazing how quickly Agentic is taken off. I think it's a very powerful tool where we have our own agents that are able to go and collect data. And we actually, through the various standards like MCP, that we're able then to, as an MCP server, be able to expose these agents to other people as part of maybe an automation pipeline. So Agentic is extremely important to us, and we're moving very quickly down that path. Like I said, we're releasing our own Agentic agents, our own MCP server. We're able to do some orchestration. In other words, once you have a number of these agents, you now have to orchestrate these agents that talk to other agents and be able to collect data and autonomously be able to go do something. And so from our perspective, the autonomous piece of it is to go collect the data, bring it into our analytics pipeline and be able to do something, as well as we have other agents that actually go and do something. Like, for example, the ServiceNow example I just gave you a few minutes ago.
And here is a kind of a academic question, if I may use that word. So AI tools are also constantly evolving to meet probably more requirements, higher requirements, various kinds of enterprise business requirements. What do you see happening next on the same route, if I may? What new technologies or what new tools do you think we can expect?
Well, that's a loaded question. It's interesting. People ask us the question all the time, and they say, "Well, what's your 5-year roadmap looks like?" Are you kidding me? I don't know if we'll know 12 months from now what things look like.
Right. 5 years is a very long time. Maybe 2 quarters. That's about
Yeah,
it.
maybe 2 years. So what we're seeing, so you take a look at, if you look at the historical progress of AI, the early days, 1970s or so, things are measured in 5 to 10 year time frames. We're now moving into an area where just over the last, even 3, 4, 5 years ago, we're moving now in 1 year, 2 year time frames. Right now, if you look at like even agentic AI, we're talking quarter by quarter, 6 months, things are changing so rapidly. And I think agentic AI really is going to be the key to a lot of these things. And we have moved very quickly into that space because of our background and understanding of how to leverage AI in these various algorithms. And so it's a very interesting space. So where's it going? I think Agentic you're going to see all sorts of interesting tools coming out with Agentic, with a little bit of caution, because remember the days where people were going to say, "Oh, I'm going to write all these microservices, and everybody in the world is going to be able to plug into this microservice, and everything's going to be microservice based, and your new application could be using microservices from company XYZ, ABC, and things like that." Well, not all that really came to fruition. So it's a little bit of that right now to say, okay, well, how much is that going to be really adopted over time, and how much are people going to be exposing their agentic agents? Internally, we have a lot of control. I don't know how the rest of the industry is going to move. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a very interesting time for us. I don't know if I answer your question. I can't tell you. My crystal ball is kind of fuzzy right now.
No, this is fine because, as you very, very rightly said, you cannot really look too much into the future. Maybe a couple of months at best. So, yes, you did answer my question. And thank you so much for that, Richard. I was hoping we could have a longer discussion at some point in time, but we'll do that later. But thanks for all your inputs for this time.
Yeah, love it. Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you so much for being with us. Please do follow us on social media for regular updates and new content.